Good morning, everyone, wherever you're watching me, whether this is on YouTube, I might put it up there, Instagram or Facebook. This is the 22nd of February 2022, an important day, an auspicious day, a powerful day that is also very, very dualistic. And it would be doing a disservice to this community to not also talk about the more challenging aspects of today, as well as the light, because we can't stick our head in the sand. It's a date that can be read the same forwards or backwards. So it's very much about there's two ways of seeing any particular situation. There's also two ways that we could potentially go as a species. And there probably is no coincidence at all that as of this morning, there are some tanks starting to roll into parts of Ukraine. I'm not too surprised at the timing of this. I was anticipating that probably as soon as the Olympic Games wrapped up, that the tensions would start to escalate between Russia and Ukraine. And that sadly seems to be the case. So I have got some information to bring through that's just been given to me by Commander Ashtar with regard to what's going on with Putin, and also what is the higher perspective on this in terms of what effectively war and peace and the whole struggle over land is trying to teach us as a species. I'll start with that in a moment, but I would just like to say a couple of things which are housekeeping. Those of you that are on Facebook and Instagram, you know that I had a post taken down last night for being misleading information. It was actually a quote by the American existential psychologist, Rollo May, and it was simply a picture post that basically said, there is no meaningful yes unless you also have the opportunity to say no. That was all that it said. And it got flagged, and I've now got some issues with my account. What I would like to say in response to this is twofold. I will be staying on all three platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, for as long as I'm needed. And I'm not about to scarper off any of them by choice. But I am going to be setting up an additional platform or platforms elsewhere just to protect my work. It's very likely to be unified, the Jason Shuker platform. I just feel that's the one that I'm resonating with the most at the moment. A lot of you are saying to go to Telegram. I will look at it. The last time I looked, I'm not meaning to offend anybody, please, but for me, I didn't really like the energy of it. But then again, maybe what I do needs to be on that type of platform. I don't know. So just bear with me. I'm not going to be doing it this week or next week. I will pay proper attention to it when I have finished the writing for my deck, which is going quite well, but I've still got another couple of weeks probably to do on it. There was something else I wanted to say about that. What was it? Gone out of my head now. Can't remember. Oh yes, important actually. Whatever, I don't like to use labels the whole time such as dark and light, but for want of a better word, let's just say this, that if we are living in amazing times, because the truth is, when the dark tries to make a move against truth, light, love, in any type of situation, it will increasingly backfire. And I suspect that the powers that were are starting to get extremely irritated and frustrated by that aspect of it. Whatever they're trying to do to lower the energy is going to backfire. So this was a good example last night. That post that got flagged for me, then loads of you shared it on social media. And it had far more traction than it would have done just from me putting up that little quote. It's me that they've got an issue with. So the fact that you're able to post it with no problem is what it's basically saying. They're trying to, squash my light, but they won't be able to, just as the sun starts to pour in the window. Thank you, Metatron. What a very Perfect moment for that to happen. And I'm not at all worried about it. Right, let's get to the messages of today. I'm going to start off with the situation with Vladimir Putin and the situation with Ukraine. I don't wish to take sides in this, especially on a Paladone day where there's always two ways of looking at anything. But this is the information I've just been given. If you followed me a while, you know that I've been very consistent in that I've always seen Putin as having a very strong galactic energy and essentially somebody that answers up to Ashtar. I said a couple of years ago that he has these moments where he goes rogue. What I mean by that is that he fails to take command from the highest source possible, i.e. he chooses to ignore the likes of Ashtar and any of his other guides that are trying to speak through him. Because there was a choice here, whether you believe he's been provoked or whether you believe he is the aggressor, to turn away from it. Because I'm writing this Christ consciousness deck at the moment, it's so fascinating because whatever you look at in life, what the Christ consciousness energy will say is there is always a chance to offer the hand of friendship over, over aggression. It's always about holding the energy of peace no matter what. So he could have chosen to do that. It doesn't look like he's going to, but we still will hold out for that. But yeah, he has these episodes where he goes rogue. And what Ashtar showed me today is, I said, what's going on with Putin at the moment? And this is a very simplistic way to express it, but it's what I was shown. I'm always shown, and in fact on the Ashtar spray that we have, we've got a little, can you see that? The little symbol, it's the Ashtar symbol. It looks a bit like the Star Trek V, that they used to have on their spacesuits. That's one of the symbols for Ashtar. And it's usually, and I'm sure I've said this before in other videos, we all have that almost like embedded into us or on us. It's a sign that we're one of the galactic warriors, and Putin is one of those. And what Ashtar showed me was he's ripped off his badge. Okay, Putin's ripped off his badge. And what Ashtar is saying is at the moment, it's almost like this badge is also a way for him to be tracked. Now, that word is very loaded with lots of connotations. That is not the intention that Ashtar is saying it with. When he just says tracked, he's just trying to make us understand something that is highly metaphysical in nature and probably beyond our understanding in terms of how spirit, whether it's Ashtar or any other ascended master, again, I'm going to say the word keeps tabs on us, but not in a controlling way, just in terms of like, where are they? What are they up to? And this is like he's just ripped it off. So it's almost as though the higher command, the higher spiritual command that Putin usually answers to is unable to get through to him at this moment. He's gone rogue. He's done it before. I don't know whether he'll do it again because it feels like this is a very pivotal moment for him. And I feel as though there will be repercussions for him with this as well. What is the higher meaning behind all of this? And what is this all about? I went to a deck which is called the Lemurian Starchild Oracle, and was very much told to go and get that deck. And I've shuffled off camera, so you're just going to have to trust me that these cards came out, but I'm not in the business of trying to fool anybody or pull your wool over your eyes. These were the two cards, and they've blown me away because the two cards that have come up for Putin is that he's being requested to share space. Okay, this whole war or skirmish with Ukraine is about land. It's always about land. It's about land. It's about resource. Last night, Putin came out and basically has claimed 2 provinces are, I think, part of Mother Russia, or it's all to do with ownership of land. It always was and it always will be until we turn away from war. The lesson for him is that it's about learning to share space. And the card also, and interesting, I hadn't noticed, it's a card number 2, and we've got all of the 2s today, okay? So how can 2 different nations, 2 different peoples learn to live in peace and harmony with each other? That is what is being asked of him. That is what at the moment he's turning away from, to be able to share space. It also says telepathy, co-creation, communing and honouring each other, co-creating together. And this is a very peaceful card, which is the opposite energy of what we've got going on at the moment. The second card that then came out linked into this energy with Putin is this. And it just blew me away because it says peace beyond survival. This is an activation of base chakra wounding, which is always about there is not enough. There is not enough for me, so I have to fight you. There is not enough resource, so I have to take what you have. It's to do with power, money. Money comes into base chakra, of course it does. It's the root, it's stability. And so this is all wars are base chakra wars. All wars are base chakra wars. You don't get wars that are conducted with and they're called crown chakra wars. You just don't. They're always base chakra wars. It's always about that wounding that's there. And that's why traditionally the colour of the base chakra is red as well. It's the colour of blood. It's the colour of sacrifice, as well as other more positive things. But all colours have a flip meaning. But here, yeah, it says he's being requested to be the peacemaker through inner peace and resolving ancient splits. It's a very dualistic day today, 2202-2022. It could go either way. Now, remember that this day isn't just about the next 24 hours, and I'm appreciative of the fact that some of you in Australia and New Zealand, it's probably already flipped over onto the 23rd. But it doesn't matter because today's energy is a portal. It's a portal which opens up the opportunity of these two different axes that the world can go down into. One linked into being able to go beyond our survival wounding and learn to be at peace with each other and to resolve ancient splits, ancient conflicts. You know, I'm not wanting to dream or manifest anything in, but it wouldn't surprise me if maybe there were some other flare-ups around our world linked into the ancient battles for land. And yes, I am being shown somewhere in particular in the Middle East, probably an obvious one, Israel, Palestine, but equally that, again, these ancient battles. But this is the one I'm talking about here, okay, Ukraine, Russia, that part of the world. So that's that. Let's just lay these cards down. And you see, because on this deck as well, we've got the lion and the lamb. What is going to be chosen? Are we going to be the lion or the lamb? Okay, so and I'm hoping we choose the lamb. That's not dissing lions, but it's this humbleness and this meekness of the lamb. But equally, the lamb can be led to slaughter. So you know, again, as I say, very, very dualistic day. Before I get off the situation with regard to Ukraine, Russia, I'm going to pull a couple more cards and see if there's anything else I can get. And then I'm going to get to some guidance for how we can operate with this energy that's circulating at the moment, that whether you know it or not is unsettling and affects us all at some level of being, because we're all tied into the collective base chakra. And that's what at the moment is pulsing red, pounding red, and needs to be quelled and healed by the energy of, I'm just being shown fire and water, okay? So fire would be the masculine energy, the old patriarchal energy that goes to almost like a fight and flight response very quickly when prodded, versus the more divine feminine response, which would be water and bringing peace over troubled waters. We've got the card of the Lovers before I even pull any other cards. And the Lovers is the card of choice. And yeah, we've got little Cupid here. Obviously, this is normally a card linked into romance and that type of thing. But I also feel as though this is the angels trying to shoot bursts of, I want to say perfume onto the situation. I'll tell you why. I was just putting my makeup on upstairs and I put some perfume on, and I was in a hurry and the perfume bottle landed on its side and the top fell off. And it literally looked as though it was about to fire something at me. It was just the position of it. And I heard Spirit say, yes, we have a choice whether we fire perfume or fragrance versus bullets and, you know, worse. So fragrance, of course, is an energy of spirit. If you think about spirit, it's linked into the energy of fragrance. So yeah, choose fragrance, choose peace over war, and more of that. Let's just pull another couple of cards. I just want to do 2 more cards with regard to Putin's energy right now, because that's his lesson. I mean, he's representative of all of us, to walk away from battle, to walk away from wanting to be the aggressor, if that's what you think he is, or walking away from being the one who's being provoked, if that's what you think he is. The answer to both is to walk away, okay? To be peace, to choose peace over war, and to demonstrate that we can share space. I'm saying all this realising that tanks are rolling in as I'm saying all of this, but that this is what I'm being guided to share with you all. Because if the lesson's not learnt in this particular skirmish, or if it develops into war, the lesson will keep coming back until we learn these things. And then it won't be Putin, it'll be somebody else. There will always be another person that brings it to the table. What are we going to choose? And I'm saying we, because remember, all of our leaders are reflective of different aspects of the wider collective consciousness. If we were a peace-loving species, we would have much more peaceful leaders. The fact that we still have leaders, let's take it away from Putin for a moment, who are not that, is reflective of the fact that we haven't healed much of the dysfunctional energy within ourselves, that we seek to be the aggressor a lot of the time, or we don't let sleeping dogs lie, as the expressions. That's Bella, that exact moment. Did you hear her just bark? We don't let sleeping dogs lie. You know, we keep picking at arguments. We keep picking at fights. We keep going back over things rather than extending the olive branch of peace. Okay. Show me the energy of where Putin is today, please. Yeah. He's wanting to show that he's the strong man. Look at that, the strong man, that I am the world's strongest man. It's all ego. It's all ego. It's old-fashioned patriarchal energy, out of control, gone rogue. And we have the 7 of Swords, which is the card of betrayal, lies, manipulation. I think he thinks he's going to get away with it, whatever it is. But I mean, it couldn't be clearer. I'm the strongest. I'm the strongest. I'm being taken back to an Olympian Greek energy. Was Apollo the god of war in Greek mythology? Excuse me. I think he was. That's what I'm being shown. I'm being shown a lifetime that I think Putin had, where he was, look at that, on the bottom of the deck, the emperor. He was the emperor. He's been this before, and he still wants to be that before. He still wants to be that, sorry, the emperor. I am the one in control. I am the one with the power. I am the strongest. The Greek thing is interesting. I just think he's been, whatever's going on at the moment with him, it's as though it's triggered a memory of a past life. And I'm being taken back to Greece for some reason. Ancient times, where he was a victor and a prime fighter, and won many trophies. They used to win trophies in those days, didn't they? I'm being shown like the big tournaments and gladiator type energy thing. What this 7 of Swords is about, though, because that did come up for him. So let's just seek some clarification on that. Oh, okay. No, don't need it. I'm being told it's a weird one, because like the whole world is watching, and we've got satellites up in the sky, so you can see what's happening in different countries. We're all being tracked at the end of the day. It's like he feels like he can get away with it. I almost wonder whether there's an aspect here, and I'm going up to the spiritual dimension now, because I said I felt he'd gone rogue, and it's like Ashtar's like, where the hell, what's he doing? Where is he? You know, and I know that sounds a weird thing to say, because you think, well, surely Ashtar knows where he is. He's there. You can see him on the TV, but this is much more complex than this. Help me out here, Ashtar, because I'm going to stand by what I said. It's as though it's like he feels like he can sneak in the back door and nobody will notice. That's the energy of it. Ashtar. Okay, Ashtar's showing me an elastic band, and the elastic band represents tolerance. And the tolerance is linked into the fact that, yes, he does know where he is, but equally he's stepped back to a degree because he realises that planet Earth is a planet of free will. And so this rogue soldier, for want of a better word, rogue warrior that can also do great good in the world, is on the thin end of a rope, is what I'm hearing. It's like the elastic band is getting very, very stretched. He's testing the patience of the higher command of Ashtar, who's not wanting to allow it, but equally there's a conflict here between free will, his free will, but what about collective free will? You chose this, is what I'm hearing. He's doing it because he thinks he can get away with it. And again, it's reflective of the fact that humanity thinks it can get away with a lot of things. Right. Can I just have more confirmation? 2 of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, this is all a show of strength. It's all about who's the strongest man, who's on top of the world, who rules the world. That's what it's all about. There's a bit of a saviour complex here as well with Putin at the moment. It's if you look at that card, there's something here linked into who is the greatest. It's the path right now. Some of us might be able to relate to this. When you're on a spiritual path and you get to a place of ego where you think you can do it all yourself. You don't have to call on Jesus or call on any of the masters because you know it all. It's that type of, that's what I'm feeling here. It's that energy of, I know it all, I don't need your help. That's why he's ripped off the badge. But he's going to get himself into more trouble than he realises. And very soon he'll be back at Ashtar's door begging for help, is what I'm feeling. It's not going to go well. Okay, anything else to say here? How does this go down? How does this go down? The 2 of Cups with the Wheel of Fortune. Got the Lion in the middle of that as well, the Vesica Pisces. Lion, strong lion energy here. The 2 of Cups is a good card. The Wheel of Fortune is a good card. Ultimately, fate is that love returns, love wins, love wins. Fate decrees that love wins, that light wins. Okay. Right, I didn't intend this whole video to be about this situation, but it's what's come through today. The guidance that I would give to you, that I'm hearing very strongly for Spirit whilst all this is whirring about, is to chop wood and carry water. Okay. And that's true for any day of any year, but particularly when things get sticky and difficult in our world, we chop wood and we carry water. What does that mean? It means before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Keep on doing what you're doing. Keep holding the energy of peace. How can you talk about holding the energy of peace, Amanda, when we've got war potentially breaking out? Because you don't appreciate the difference that you make by holding peace. Because what I'm being shown here is that even in the darkest times, when you hold the energy of peace, you don't appreciate the fact that you have made a difference. So what I'm being shown, for example, is, say there is a war, and there's a battlefield, okay? And there is a moment on that battlefield where the aggressor, whoever they are, whichever side, chooses to step away from, I don't know, finishing somebody off. Sorry to speak in this language, but it's the truth of war. It's ugly. They choose to step away from finishing somebody off and they leave them, okay? They spare them, basically. They show them mercy. In that moment, they have tuned in to the energy of peace and walking away that you have been helping to build. It starts one person at a time, and the effect of your efforts are happening at a micro level in ways that you can't imagine. You can save one person by just holding the energy of peace today. You can lessen the duration of a battle by holding the peace today. You can help soften the hearts of generals or fighters by holding peace today. Okay, so it doesn't mean just because a war breaks out that you failed. Ultimately, of course, we don't want that to happen, and we want to bring in the energy of peace and for none of this to occur. But if it does, don't think that you failed. What you are doing by holding the energy of peace is helping to minimize the collateral damage, is what I'm hearing, and to hasten the end of any bloody conflict so that it is shorter than it could have been. Okay, does that make sense? It makes complete sense to me. So yes, maybe just build a little peace altar today or light a candle to peace, but equally remember that peace starts with us as well. So if there's somebody in your life that you've been at war with, maybe just, extend the olive branch. Funnily enough, somebody just sent an email through to my team saying, would Amanda like some olive oil or something that you've made? And I'm going to say, if you're watching this, thank you very much. Yes, if you can get it through customs, absolutely, because it just feels so symbolic, okay? Right, anything else to say? I also, yesterday, was writing the words for the card in the Christ Consciousness deck, which is about spiritual practice. And one of the main things that was coming through, and remember that I'm making this with the background of traditional Christianity, even though this isn't a Christian deck. I mean, it can be used by Christians, but it's a Christ consciousness deck. So it can be used by people of any faith, any belief system. It's about the template that was set down in terms of just, holding the energy of forgiveness and compassion and grace, etc. But yeah, the card of spiritual practice yesterday, sorry, I got itchy foot. What was coming through was, these days of old when we used to maybe go once a week and sit somewhere and do our spiritual practice, or even now, it's like, okay, I'm going to put my spiritual practice into this hour, or I've got half an hour now to sit and meditate. That'll be my spiritual practice for today. That's being swept away now, and really the whole of our life should be a living testimony to spiritual practice. How we live our life, how we conduct ourselves is living spiritual practice. So I think we need to remember that as well as we chop wood and carry water, that it's all part of serving spirit, all part of serving God, all trying to align to the highest truths and the highest love, and to bring that in every single moment of the day that we can. So let's now pull a couple of cards for, I want to say, reading the date the other way. Okay, so we've looked at the energy of war and Putin and what could happen. And absolutely, let's send light to all concerned. Let's bring in the energy of Archangel Michael, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Metatron, Mother Mary, to help bring the energy of peace to all, and also to encourage, you can't change free will, but to encourage Putin to check back in with his highest link to spirit, which would be Ashtar. Is there anything else you just want to say, Ashtar, before we do anything? I will just say the card of family has just flipped out as I said that, which is the Metatron card. And this is, I think, both Metatron and Ashtar saying that we are all members, every single person is a member of the human family, including people like Putin, including any leader around the world that you may have an issue with. I'm not trying to single out Putin here, it's topical, it's what's going on today. We are all members of God's family. And I'm also hearing the energy of the story in the Bible. I can't remember what the parable was, or it's the New Testament one, where the rogue son basically leaves, the family home, and then is welcomed back with a great feast when he returns. This is sort of the energy that I'm feeling. So the 22022022 energy in reverse can be the energy of, I just want to say, people like Putin walking in the door again and uniting with the whole family and bringing in this cup, which is showing us how to live in shared space with each other and how to hold the energy of peace beyond survival. And maybe we need to have this last clear out, this last horrible hurrah of the dark, in terms of, this is really how ugly war is. This is really what we do to each other. We've been doing this for generation after generation after generation. How long do we want to keep doing this? When are we going to choose peace over being triggered by our survival wounds? That you've got something that I haven't got, so I am going to have to fight you for it. And if you think about your own life and you take it down into the nitty-gritty, it's about making peace with the person maybe in your family, in your streets, in your neighborhood, in your friendship group, in your business, who maybe screwed you over, who did something horrible, who took something from you. Can you extend the energy of peace? That's where it starts. Can we share our space? Can we share our space? Because in a family, all members are equal. Okay, just gonna see if there's anything else from Ashtar before I go on. No, that's sufficient for now. It's like he's busy. Just getting this energy of, it's like, no, that's your slot now. I'm off now. I've got other things to do. Fair enough. Of course you have. Right, let's have another couple of cards. Anything else that wishes to be said on 22nd of February? Two cards, please. Why? I'm going to take that card on the bottom of the deck as well. Why and Thinker. This is a day to really think about what we're doing, why we're doing it, to reflect, to meditate, to research, to look. Card 44 is an angelic frequency as well. I also think this is linked into the fact that sometimes we can be too much in our minds. The ego loves to exist in the mind, and the mind can take you into pathways and areas of life that aren't always helpful. So there's this balance between the egoic mind and the spiritual angelic realm, or galactic realm, or celestial realm, whatever you want to call it. I also feel there's an energy here of this fairy, this angel, who could be us, being a little bit tired. A little bit tired, exhausted even. A lot of us feel like that. But then it's like we pick up another book and it's got greater truths. Although that book could also be the book that is not written. This is the new book. I think it's more that. This is the book that lands, that is not written. It's the next chapter for Earth. It's it flies in with angel wings and golden energy. And it's like, okay, when they've exhausted that old story of war, what next? What next? What does humanity wish to co-create? What do you wish to co-create in your life? All of that. Because we are poised. We're poised to enter a new era, despite all of the appearances to the contrary. Never, ever forget that. Okay, guys, I'm going to get this uploaded now. And I hope you have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Remember to chop wood and carry water. Hold the energy of peace in your heart. And lots of love to everybody. Also, a bit of fire strength from Metatron. Dragon strength coming in here. What do you want to say? The energy of fire. That feels very linked into the energy in Ukraine. I said this before in my previous video on Ukraine and Russia, which is up on YouTube. It's to do with the natural resources and the energy of that land. And I think we had an earth dragon that came up before for that country. It's like, don't mess with that area. It's like there's forces there, and I'm talking about spiritual forces that are very strong, that are buried and ready to awaken, to protect, to fight back, but not. Well, yeah, I suppose there is an element of fighting back. It's the dragon energy. It's protecting. It's protecting its own. It's so one more card that goes with that fire dragon for today. Just looking for my fire spray. Hold on, I got it to hand. No, hold on. Let's end with a spray. Fire dragon. I'm seeing the energy of volcanoes, and it's like these fire dragons are within the volcanoes, and there's volcanoes that are being activated, and these creatures are flying out of the volcanoes. They're also flying out of craters. I'm seeing craters within the earth, you know, not like a tall volcano, sort of like a canyon type energy. Almost like the energy of somewhere like the Grand Canyon in USA. I'm also being taken to Etna, which I know is erupting at the moment, but there's also something localized to the area around Russia, Ukraine, that area. The fire dragons are part of the army. They're part of the army. There's a spiritual army here, and this is the thing. He needs Putin. He doesn't know what he's playing with. It's like there's a wild, unknown energy here. The elements are going to fight back. I've said this before in my last video. I was feeling it more with the energy of winter and snow and cold, but now I've got the energy of fire as well. Okay, guys, let's just pull one more card. Fire dragon. Why have we got the fire dragon today? Communication, speak up and be heard. Yeah, I kept seeing a card in this deck which was message in a bottle as well. There's a message in a bottle card here. Maybe this is linked into diplomacy, coming in at the last minute, or I don't know, not sure why we've got communication. Why have we got communication, Metatron, today? Why have we got communication today? I'm not being told because the bottle is still corked. There's information to come today. It feels like it's a disclosure type energy. I'm not saying it's like today we discover, you know, and UFOs appear in the sky, but there's new information that is coming into our world. Take it away from Russia now and all of that situation. This is just general. There is disclosures to come today, and they are important. But I'm also feeling at a personal level as well. Be open to receive the messages today that Spirit wished to give you. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Take great care of yourselves. Lots of love. And I'll be back soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye. Thanks for all of your support as well. Bye.